Well, hello there. So I'm going to start to do some more AWS videos again, probably redo some of my old ones and hopefully get quite a few new ones out there. And then we'll move on to the next thing. But let's talk a little bit about the AWS Learner Lab in this first one. So the AWS Academy Learner Lab is a course that's there just to basically play. So it has a few modules. The modules tells you about the course, how to use it effectively, how then to launch the Learner Lab, and then there's some demos, and there's an actual Learner Lab activity for Code Whisperer. So if you're going to be using it to code, that's a good one. So for the most part, I use this course for almost all my IT classes. It's a great lab environment for students to get in there and play. I have used too much on this one, so I'm going to go to a different one. Let me pause the video. Okay, here's a better one. So I use these to record videos. I get a Learner Lab from a prior semester, and it just so happened that the one I grabbed is one that I set up a server in, and I set a static IP to it. So when it's not in use, I get billed for it. So I used up all my funds. So this one right here is I've only spent $14 out of $100. Okay. Oftentimes in my Learner Labs, I also have my tutors have access to it as a TA. And when you do view as student, the teacher and the teachers and TAs, all access the same fake student account. It's one of the challenges with it. So just be mindful of that. Sometimes when I'm doing stuff in front of class, I'm using a different Learner Lab than the class is using, just in case a tutor is in there playing with stuff as well, so that they don't stomp on what I'm doing. This is going to start here. In fact, it started. Cool. We're going to click on AWS. So we've got into the Learner Lab. We launched the Learner Lab, and now we are at an AWS Console. So I think now they're only $50 and only valid for 6 months. I think someone was telling me. So far, I think mine have all been 100 until this semester. So so they're shortening the time that we can use these for and shortening the money some, but honestly, usually not a problem. $50 should be fine. So this is a complete AWS environment, but we have been hindered from doing certain things, such as identity and access management. So if we come back here to the Learner Lab, in the Learner Lab, it's going to talk about the different things that you can do. This is an environment is long-lived, which means it doesn't reset unless you reset it. You can reset it, and it'll go back to how it was, or you can use it and keep starting it, and the same stuff will start back up. Now, to stop students from using all the funds really quick, when you end the lab or after 4 hours, so right here, it does certain things. So it shuts down any running EC2 instance. That's a problem for some workloads, right? If you're doing serverless, those are fine. Those continue to run. But servers, they shut down, including your databases, when your lab ended. When you start your lab back up, those start back up. So pretty cool. Now, things change off and on. So just be mindful. Play with it. If it doesn't act the exact way that I mentioned, realize they're constantly updating this. So for example, one semester, I noticed that when students would go in, any EC2 instance that they had would be up and running. So I would have them come in and shut things down. But if you look here, so I have 2 running. If I came here and I shut one down and then I stopped my lab, waited a little while and started it back up, Another semester, only the one that was running when it shut down would start up again. So there's just weird quirks like that you just need to get familiar with. Okay, so we have an AWS environment. We're into it. We'll start to play with it a little bit in the next video. We'll see you then.